Peace and blessings, everyone. This is an update, quick update on your new city girl gone country garden, and just kind of wanted to give you an update on where we are. So let's go ahead and look at it. Today we planted a couple of our plants. We have here oregano. We wanted to plant that by itself instead of putting it in the herb garden. And over here we planted the peppermint plant in its own container, and we also planted the bee balm, and it's part of an herb family. So anyway, the mint family. Just heard a voice in the distance, which we don't have any neighbors, so that was a little disconcerting. But nonetheless, I'm gonna try to keep the shadow out. This is our raised bed herb garden. So in here, oh, that's Carrie. Let me get out the shadow. So in here, what we have is sweet basil, we have parsley, we have chive onions, and we have thyme. Now the pots are in there because I can't give any space for my little kitty witties to get in there and do their business. So we had to put pots to keep them out. So let's go over here back to raised bed number 3. So today what we did is that we put this piping on here so that we can put netting over the top, because the kitty witties, and let me be specific, Tiger was doing his business in here, so we had to solve this problem. That's why let me get out here. That's why a couple of these plants, the leaves don't look so good, because Kitty Witty was in here doing his business. So with that being said, and see those butterflies, they like my cabbages, so we had to cover it up with netting. If you can see this netting right here, and this particular garden right here, our raised bed, is our cabbages. Now remember, we had cabbage worms, and so I went and I fertilized, and I also did a homemade pesticide and a homemade herbicide. So right now they're doing well. I am so proud of them. There are no cabbage worms on any of them. They are growing, and that is awesome. And you see that little poor stick sticking in the middle? I was watching one of the people that I watch from my hometown, called the Grow Family Network, and saw what the problem is with this poor little bed here. The problem is that I didn't buy one of these little poles to go in the middle. And so I, said to myself, let me put this in the middle. No. And so I have to go back now that I've figured it out and go get another pole to be in the middle, so the netting doesn't just sit on top of my plants. Right here I had a bell pepper that we had to move over into this bed because it was too tall for that particular bed. And so these bell peppers are doing so well, and there are 2 bell peppers on here, and there's a little bitty bell pepper growing on here. And look at the lettuce, it is beautiful. And the tomatoes are looking great. They were brown, but we managed to take off all those brown leaves and help them with some fertilizer come back from the brink of death. Now the lettuce, the spinach, not so good. So the spinach is growing, but it has these little, I don't know if I can see it through here, but it has these little brown, let me see, these little brown leaves. I don't know if it's fungus or what it is, but I said spinach. This is, yeah, spinach. So I don't know what it is, but we're going to keep on working with them. So what else is new? Of course, I told you about our planting our seedlings for the spring, for the fall, our fall planting, which is actually for the winter. So we have winter seedlings here. We have winter seedlings here, and of course our flowers are looking lovely, lovely. And I want my garden to look pretty. I don't want it just to be everywhere. Okay, these are the cabbages that are still left to be planted. These are the Brussels sprouts that are still left to be planted, looking beautiful, I might add. And also we brought this blueberry bush from the front because it needed to be pruned, and also the front I think is too hot for it. So we have this blueberry bush here. I'm gonna buy some more and figure out exactly where to put these bushes. Then over here we have the blackberry, and it just looks like a dead stick, and that's the way it was when I bought it. And the other day when I was working out here in the herb garden, I had raspberries here, but the little stick broke off, so I don't know if there's a root under there, but I'm gonna leave it alone. So anyway, in this garden, this beautiful little garden, hopefully the light is not too bright. I can't tell, and I don't want to be in. Okay, I'm in it. So anyway, we got the noon sun going on. So anyway, this is our herb garden, and the reason that the pots are in there is because the kitty witties are always, well, let me be specific, Tiger is always in my plants, and so I had to put the pots to not give him space to be in here. Now yeah, we're gonna leave these bell peppers up because they still seem to be flowering, so I'm not gonna mess with them. There's a little baby, and this is all the way, this bell pepper has been here since February. So February to this month is October, and it's still producing. So being in the South, I guess that says a lot about that. Now what else is new? As you can see, we have tarps. This is a 12 by 16 tarp that we got from this discount building supply place for like $8-9 a piece. And so we are going to start our spring garden, get ready for our spring garden we have cardboard underneath, and then the tarps to go ahead and take the grass and bring it down and start making the grass fertile and ready to grow. So we have two of them. We have one here. I didn't want to put them back to back because I didn't want to like have stuff just too much in the way. And then we have one behind the raised bed garden. Now, with that being said, we have these trees here, very large trees. However, this is pretty much the condition. This is almost 1 o'clock or 12 noon. So during the summertime or during the springtime, it should have pretty good sun most of the day. And I wanted to share something with you, a tip. Let me see if I can get out the way. A tip for getting rid of ants. My sister Karima gave it to me, and here it is. Now, this is an ant bed that no longer, they've moved out of it, and she told me to put grits on it. So that's just grits on the ant bed. And so here's some more. I just put that on there today, and it's working. I don't know what it is, but it works. And this is an old ant bed. That's an old one, and they don't come back to the same ant bed. So that's a good tip if you are having lots of ants come up in your yard. Now, future plans. What do we plan on doing besides the two gardens here, the two beds here that are going to be in-ground beds for the spring? What we're going to do, we're going to make a small raised bed on this concrete spot, and then I'm going to bring in over here, this area, another small raised bed like this one. So we'll have a total of 5 raised beds. And then the next thought is now this is my big project. Over here, behind the driveway, is to take this concrete slab right here and turn it into a greenhouse. And that's what I'm thinking. Just build it right on top of the ground, turn it into a greenhouse. because it has full sun. If you can look over here and look in the night, the sky, we have full sun. So a greenhouse right here, that's what I'm thinking. Now, the other thing is that for this area of the yard, I still want to grow in it, but what I'm thinking about doing, because one is very uneven and it has holes in it, and two, it has lots of rocks in it, as you can see right here. What we want to do from about right here along this line to about maybe right here is to bring in some dirt and build it up, and then do an in-ground garden, but building up this soil over here. Now lastly, I want to get your suggestions. We have this beautiful, lovely yard, as I've shared with you all before. The breeze is fabulous, especially under the trees, because it's a little warm here. Still 86 degrees in October here in the south. So I have this dog kennel back here, and I would like to look at raising some chickens, perhaps, for eggs. Maybe my husband wants some I doubt it, because he's not gonna kill it, or euthanize or cull the chicken, as some people say. So more than likely it'll be for eggs. So this is a enclosed kennel that actually sits on the ground, and it has a top on the top. If you see, the first one and the last one are covered, and this fence that's sitting up against the other fence goes on the middle one. That's what I think where it goes. So it also has a top, so we wouldn't have to cover it, maybe with the exception of that when they're roosing, they like to have a covered area, but nonetheless. So I would like your suggestions on what do you think that, or how do you think that we can convert this dog kennel into a chicken coop. It has 3 separate areas, so each one of them is 3 enclosed areas where we can, I don't know anything about raising chickens, so that's why I'm asking advice. Next is that we have this other area over here that is under the covered awning, and just looking at what could we do with that, what could we turn that into. So basically we're just looking at trying to turn this acreage that we have is a little under an acre that the house sits on, and so just looking at trying to turn it into a piece of property where we can use to sustain ourselves, especially during these times of what they call the food shortage. And so yeah, we thank you for stopping by, and until the next time, peace and blessings, everyone.